So here's from the local constitutional coop in California, and one of the most important videos I have ever done, especially given the changed circumstances with the last quote unquote election. And that is for parents to protect your school children, especially in elementary school and even preschool, who are now teaching all this LGBTQ crap, which has no business being there, and probably not in junior high school either. And at the outset, let me say this about that. Um, LGBTQ types, whatever, do what you want in your private life. You make decisions like that. That's not a problem. What you can't do is use civil rights pursuant to what I can prove is the non existent 14th War Amendment. And the major big deal here is if you're doing that, you're invoking federal, regional, martial law rule to do it. And that has no place in a federated republican form of government of defined and limited powers. It might well and probably does in today's much ballyhooed democracy, aka three bulls and two sheep voting on what's for dinner, aka today's elected despotism. But this is the major objection. And Justice Thomas knows this, as do the conservatives on the court, and he was openly critical recently on about the 70th anniversary of the decision in Brown v. Board versus Education. What's the problem with school integration, you ask? It's the same deal because if the feds can do that, especially outside of Washington, D.C., my former hometown, and I don't even know they can do it there, that starts the process of destroying the sovereign independent states admitted into this union and replacing it with today's Marxist Leninist communist government. And that's what we have now, national socialist government. It has to get gone. Happily, Trump has already indicated when he gets done, he's going to do an executive order to basically get rid of the Department of Education and Title IX. And note, and I don't know how much he knows about this, but that's one way to do it because if it exists pursuant to federal, regional, martial law rule, as you'll learn, wherever you are, what they call residing in these days, and it's not a sovereign independent state, it's subject to control of the president as commander in chief of the armed forces, and he can do that with an executive order. A nightmarish thought that would never have occurred to any of those racist framers of the Constitution who ordained and established this Constitution, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Not the New York bankers, not Chase Bank, not IBM, not Microsoft. Eight. This is a white Christian nation, like it or not. And yes, I can be confused, with a crazed white supremacist, but that's the winning argument because we were the sovereign body politic and we still are. As you'll learn, especially in California, I got proof from the Secretary of State in Sacramento here that the Constitution of 1849 has not been repealed. Yet that sovereign body politic is not recognized anywhere in that Constitution of 1879 and was systematically excluded from all parts of government in the meantime. Can you say the four magic words here? No, not due process of law, consent of the governed. And if we get back where we should be, now inhabitants of states and even inhabitants of territories have enforceable rights, particularly the trial by jury according to the course of the common law and habeas corpus. And now, and we'll talk more about this later on in another video, you don't have 8 law enforcement thugs out there committing first-degree murder of Jalen Walker by shooting him 48 times in the back when the traffic court wouldn't have had jurisdiction, and nobody gets indicted for involuntary manslaughter. This is what has to stop, but it's what they teach your kids in school intrinsically. They don't hear anything else. I didn't back in the days I was in school outside of Washington, D.C., by the way. Much better education in a lot of ways, but not this one. They don't want you to know the truth. That's what I'm putting out here, and that's what's going to benefit you, your children, and your posterity. But we have educated people out there who, at the very least, on jury duty, if they're qualified jurors, can get in there and they will know what we're talking about when we present our arguments on the Constitution, laws, and history of the United States, and they won't even have to go into the back room to deliberate. That's how good it is, and we could make this country as great as it once was and get back to relative normal. And yes, we can make changes, but do it in conformance with the Constitution, not in violation of rights secured by all 6 articles. And I'm ready, willing, and able to take on anybody. Hell, the debate you bring on any attorneys you have, and I'll take them down verbatim. It's that simple. So that said, send me an email, uwinningcourt@gmail.com for more information. And I'm doing some specialized videos now that are going to really help. I'm embarrassed I hadn't thought about this before. But now you have short videos of me that you can take in, whether it's the presiding judge or whether it's, the child procurement services or home association, owners associations, and they'll see who they're dealing with here. And that's going to light a fire under them and make them realize they've got to drop all the charges against you and pay you off in the bargain. That's how good this is, and that's how exciting for me it is at age 76 here. I just wish I had learned this 65 years ago in Washington, D.C., but better late than never. And I've talked a bit more than I should in this video, but send me an email, uwinningcourt@gmail.com, and we'll start getting into your PTAs and boards of education and making a difference on the local level. And I mean, especially in California, not stacked with tomatoes. We'll talk more about that on a different video, not Washington, D.C. You'll look in vain in all 6 articles of the Constitution to find any authority for the Department of Education, not to mention a whole lot of other ones. So it's that good. So remember to sign, in, tell your friends, get the word out. The sooner we take action, and we now have that Supreme Court now on board for the next 10 or 12 years to conserve the court, and we can do astounding things we've not been able to do in close to 100 years. Thank you.